Hello, this is Chala Dincoy, CEO and founder of The Repositioning Expert. Welcome back to another edition of Polish My Pitch Deep Dive Edition. And we are back here again with Sean Sheppard, and he is going to introduce himself this time, maybe using a little bit of his polished pitch, maybe not. Tell us what you do, Sean, and who you help.
Hi, Chala. I'm a serial tech entrepreneur turned investor and now managing partner at User Technologies. We're a corporate venture builder. We work with companies that are trying to improve their innovation, their success rate of innovation through corporate venture building and digital innovation labs as a service.
That's right. Okay, great. So now talk to me about, I know you say you build startups for corporations. Like, why do corporations need startups?
Because they need to stay relevant. 52% of the Fortune of the S&P 500 in the year 2000 no longer exists. The pace and rate of change in today's marketplace is so fast that corporations need to think and act and behave like startups if they're going to meet the needs of their customers in the market today, and do that through digital products and services and other IoT related products, things that create data and insights that bring them closer to their customers and create new revenue streams.
So are there innovations that you take part in that are not digital?
If they're related to hardware, but they all have a digital component, because it's not the hardware itself that's the most valuable. It's the insights that come from the information collected off that hardware.
Oh, wow. That is great. Now, what is the industry, and we talked a little bit about this in the previous episode, but what is the industry that you see this happening the most in, that needs your help the most?
So I see it in financial services. I see it in automotive. I see it in energy. I see it in retail. I see it in insurance, as an example. I see it in governments who are trying to figure out how to innovate their way out of many different situations, especially now in the age of this pandemic. Digital transformation is accelerated by a decade. It's everyone's top priority.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So like, what has happened to your business and processes as a result of COVID? Have you like tripled, doubled, whatever?
Our business has grown 5x in the last year.
It's amazing. That is amazing. Talk more about that. Give us some hope.
Well, I believe every company ultimately needs to be a technology company in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Especially in today's market, with the new rules of the game. Yeah. And so it's become a priority for everyone to think about how can you create new recurring revenue streams, keep your market share, grow your market share through new ways to serve the needs of the marketplace today. And existing companies have a tremendous amount of leverage and opportunity because they have customers, they have brand, they have relationships that they can leverage. They just don't have the experience, the mindset, or the skill set to take something someplace new. Yeah. And when you come from the startup world, I always say that a startup is just a stranger in a strange place with a strange offering, asking other strangers to do strange things with them.
That's
and over 70% of funded startups failed, but over 95% of corporate innovations fail. And there's a whole host of reasons for that. It mostly has to do with markets and people and execution. It doesn't have to do with the technology itself. It has to do with not having the right teams organized in the right way with the right mindset and skill set to think and behave and act like a funded startup. Just that alone is going to reduce the failure rates.
Yeah. So tell me about a Phoenix Rising story that you took part in, where you saved somebody's bacon.
Well, in Canada specifically, right there in Toronto, your largest camera retailer, Henry's.
Oh, you worked with Henry's?
We work with Henry's right now. We've been working with Henry's for quite a long time. We've helped them build a whole new revenue stream online without having to add stores. And especially during COVID, it's been very critical. So now they created a platform for their creators and their consumers to get protection on their gear, to share their work, to create a community and a platform to engage each other in a contactless way. And there's a whole host of other ventures that Henry's has plans to launch over the coming years that we're a key part of building the product and the market for them.
That's amazing. So give me another example of like a financial services, which you talked about, where you did actually launch a product for them.
Yeah, well, we launched for the largest bank in Canada. I can't say the name, but I guess we can all guess it. A digital insights platform that allows their customers to identify propensity to spend or churn.
Ooh.
And use that information to deliver direct offers from their clients to each other's customers. And by blending that consumer data that comes from credit card purchases and using the right kinds of algorithms, you can deliver real key insights on when a customer has the intent to buy or the intent to leave.
That's amazing. And how accurate is it?
Well, the conversion rates are pretty remarkable because of how personalized the offers become as a result of understanding your propensity to buy or churn.
So how many people actually work with you? Do you work with like, a huge team, or does it shrink and grow according to the project? How does it work?
Yeah, so we, from our side, we bring agile product and market development teams to every project, and based on the needs of that project, we can flex our teams up and down based on the work and the timelines. But we'll have anywhere from 2 to 25 people on a project, depending on the work itself.
Are they mostly in like developed countries, or do you do a mix?
Well, we've launched over 80 enterprise class products that are generating north of $1 billion in annual revenue in over 20 countries. Now, we're based here in San Francisco. We have an office in Toronto. We have an office in New York. And then we have a large office in Prague, where the company was founded. And corporate venture building has been a standard practice in Europe for many years. The reason is that their startup community isn't as robust or organized as it is in North America. So corporates have been looking to open innovation as a way to solve their problems. In other words, they try to find startups that have great things that they can partner with or even acquire. And they're finding that they're not getting the ROI on that, because the startups don't know how to work with big companies. Big companies don't know how to work with startups. Integrating those into their business is very difficult and doesn't yield the results they're looking for. So now they're looking inward to actually build these things. And we tend to agree that that's the right approach. The future of corporate innovation is in venture building, because you have the customers, you have the brand, you have the resources, and we have the methodology coming from the startup world that we can apply inside your organization to help you innovate faster, better, and cheaper.
That's amazing. So talk a little bit about what advice you have for smaller businesses to build their funnels during especially the pandemic.
Yeah, you and I talked offline about this earlier, but as I mentioned, every company in part needs to become a technology company, which means they can launch digital products and services to create recurring revenue streams that work while they're sleeping. Yeah. If you're a services business, you have tremendous insights into workflows and processes and jobs to be done that most technologists don't have. And the most successful startup founders that I've either worked with or invested in, or even for myself and my own startups, because I've started 5 companies and I've sold 3, is we have insights into the work that needs to get done, the problems associated with it, and how to solve it. And if we can use those insights to build automation in different areas and create new licensing-based revenue streams, whether it's through managed services or it's through a digital product that solves a specific problem for your customer, there's tremendous opportunity to build recurring revenue streams. I'm doing it right now with U+. We're creating a managed cloud services business that creates a recurring revenue model for us, so that our asset value goes up dramatically, because the typical services business is valued at 1 time to 3 times revenue, depending on growth and other factors in industry. But a license-based model can be valued at 5 to 25 times revenue. Wow. So it's something for all of your service-based business leaders to think about. What can I automate and what can I get built that would create a new revenue stream for me with my customers?
So can you give an example of a client that you're doing that for that is a small business, or do you?
Yes. We have a client that is about a $2.5 million a year annual service business revenue. where they do HR systems and technology services to help them launch and implement HR systems. They identified that there was a key need with one of their large healthcare clients, that and it was just through a casual conversation with a leader in the organization who said, it's such a difficult process for us to try and identify people who are coming into our building and what credentials they need in order to get access to certain areas of the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And based on that, we built them a platform called FloorPass that automates and aggregates the entire credentialing process for healthcare providers. And they worked with that very first customer as their pilot customer. And we helped them build the product, figure out the business model, the pricing strategy, and create the proof of concept between both parties. And it worked very well.
Wow. Now, Sean, how do these people find you?
Well, I mean, that was word of mouth relationships, right? Okay. But typically we have our own outbound strategy for building brand and content and marketing to corporate innovation leaders, CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, chief digital officers. But I've been at this in Silicon Valley for 25 years, so I've got a fairly robust network, and most of my other team members do as well. And then, just like I've always said, the fastest path to product market fit and growth is word of mouth. So a lot of it's coming from word of mouth.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm in marketing. So one of the things that I always see is that there's just there's such a lack of robust market research to find the market fit. And I love that what you're saying. And also that I find there's not only no need, but the positioning of the need is missing. So I don't know, have you ever had experience in that? And is that something that you help them with?
Very much. Needs recognition?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No one purchases until they recognize a need, right? Yeah. And so helping them develop and understand that need is very much a part of the work we do. I mean, our entire innovation lifecycle starts with a portfolio-based approach towards venture building. So you collect a portfolio of ideas, you curate, and then do the research to determine which ideas you should prioritize. And the way we apply that framework is, what's the thing that's going to get us the fastest path to traction in the shortest period of time possible with the least amount of resources. It's the old most money, least work equation.
That's great.
And then we go out and actually test that idea in the market, build an absolute minimum viable product, or what I call a minimum valuable one, which is as little as just maybe a clickable prototype that people can use to understand their behavior and whether or not they will adopt it. And then based on what we get from user interviews and customer interviews and all of that feedback, we will then scope the actual building of something based on what the customer's telling us. And then we will launch that with our own marketing resources that are applied to finding traction in a predictable, profitable, scalable business.
Got it. You know what, as you were talking, I'm thinking more about your elevator pitch, and I wish we could make a claim like we shortcut your digital marketing or your digital product launch success by whatever percent. Or
yes, well, I can tell you from my venture capital days, in applying this framework to our startups, the average startup failure rate 70%. Ours was in the teens.
That's great.
And some of that is picking the right product and market opportunities, but it's really about markets and people. 8 of the top 10 reasons why these things fail have to do with people and markets, not products and technology. And that's well researched.
And the people that are implementing it, you're saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial mindsets don't exist inside these corporations. Most of these companies, the entrepreneurs that started it are dead or retired. You now have operators, right? And managers, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it requires a very different mindset and approach to take something from 0 to 1 than it does to manage it from 1 to n. Absolutely.
Are you like talking about this? Are you on doing TEDx talks and?
Yeah, I'm all over the place. I do a lot of public speaking. Before COVID, I was on the road 70% of the time.
Wow.
Talking about this stuff.
And are you doing virtual stuff now?
I do a lot of it, yes. And most of it's just organic, like I said, organic inbound, word of mouth, from seeing my content and hearing me talk in other areas about why innovations fail and what you can do about it.
It's unbelievable. Like, talking to you has cemented my, thoughts around the digital, like the whole world. As you said, what was the stat you gave? Like, it 5x the speed at which, or 10 years, it moved it 10 years ahead.
Yes.
It's like unbelievable. It's so, and so that's why you're going to become even richer and richer and richer. And we're happy to know you, and we're so happy that you came.
Well, I appreciate it. I do these things because I want to be able to give back to more people with, I can't scale myself. So
Great.
The leverage of media and technology and wonderful people like you is the best path.
I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate you, Chala. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much.